What up, guys? It's your boy Quake, and I'm back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 276, powered by, of course, Golden Eagle Energy Drink. They sponsored all of Season 4, so shout out to them. Get yours at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. So, Diddy, man, this episode's again with Diddy. A lot of stuff involving Diddy. A lot of people asking questions, like 50 and Boosie asking questions, where are Diddy's friends? And then there's some stuff involving Kanye inserting himself into the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. And then me kind of clowning a little bit of Drake because he hasn't responded to Kendrick at all. I waited 10 days. Where y'all at? That's the back-to-back line. Actually said I waited 4 days. Where y'all at? But we're waiting more than 4 days, Drake. Where are you at, Drake? Anyways, before I get into that, just go into a crazy mode. Let's get into all the headlines relating to Diddy first. Suge Knight, he's been quite silent when it comes to everything that's going on with Diddy, but finally he broke his silence and decided to speak out on all the things happening with Diddy, especially the recent home raids that happened in Los Angeles and Miami. Those both homes that got raided, and then now a bunch of allegations from Lil Rod's lawsuit talking about extra stuff that Diddy's done, including hiring sex workers and all this trafficking and all this stuff that's going on. So Suge Knight has finally spoken on it, and it's on his podcast called Collect Call with Suge Knight. Of course, Suge Knight right now is locked up and serving a 28-year sentence for that time that he ran over that guy at the Straight Outta Compton movie set a while ago. So he's still serving that sentence, but through this Collect Call series, he can speak on current events and just things that's going on. And obviously, Suge Knight and Diddy have a long history that, we all know spiraled into Tupac and Biggie getting murdered, a whole East Coast, West Coast beef. And I'm actually going over the whole Diddy conspiracy theory that he put $1 million hit on Tupac. I'm making a documentary on it, so that's going to come out on my channel in April called Diddy $1 Million Hit. And I actually break down Suge Knight and Diddy's relationship a lot better on there. So I'm not going to break down their whole relationship and history, but let's just say it went south after Suge Knight's friend Big Jake got killed in Atlanta back in September of 1995. So a while ago, started really from there, and then things kind of spiraled into Pac eventually getting murdered and Biggie getting murdered. So what does Suge Knight have to say about Diddy? It's quite surprising, actually. A lot of it was positive and really sincere, and just not really kicking Diddy down while he's down, surprisingly. So here is an outtake from that podcast. Let's play the clip and then talk about it a little bit more after.
Everybody been talking about the Puffy situation. First, I'd like to pray for his family, his daughters and his sons, his kids, basically. That's never a good sign for nobody to cheer about when it comes to kids or young men being handcuffed. It's a bad day for hip-hop, for the culture, for black people. Because when one looks bad, we all look bad. Because that's definitely not nothing to cheer about. But I tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets, who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in. So, they're going to get you if they can. It's a little crazy how Puffy get booted out the alcohol business and Jimmy Iovine steps in with Andre and Snoopy promoting it. I turn myself in. Sometimes you got to face the music. That's most of the time. Puffy, I'm going to give you some real advice. 2 quick things. You got to make a decision. When you go to prison, either you're going to be standing up pissing or squatting, sitting down pissing. I advise you to try to take the first one. Because, if you're squatting, pissing on the seat, you know what that means. Oh, yeah, by the way, do not do your time going by Brother Love. Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. I'm out.
So he starts it off with, being respectful, obviously sending prayers and love to Diddy's family, because they're going to be going through a lot if Diddy has to deal with getting arrested and facing, prison time. So obviously that's a great way to start out. And then he talks about hip hop culture and just black culture in general and how it's a bad look, which I agree. In hip hop, this is not the best thing to happen to hip hop. But a lot of stuff that even Suge Knight was involved in wasn't the greatest thing to happen to hip hop. So to be pointing that finger towards Diddy doesn't really make sense in my opinion, but I get what he means by that. It's not a good look, but it is a good look, and it is something to be cheerful of if Diddy actually did these things. If there's 100% valid proof, and he actually did all these horrible things to people, which is horrible things, then yeah, you cheer. You're excited for that because a bad person went to prison. Nothing's wrong with that. Another thing that I think Suge Knight doesn't really realize is that Diddy hasn't officially been charged criminally with anything. So he's not on the run. He can't turn himself in because the feds haven't charged him with anything. He's only been hit with lawsuits in a civil matter. And you can't, there's no arrest time for that. But criminally, if they do say, hey, Diddy, we have charges on you of all these sexual assault lawsuits and, we have all these human trafficking charges that we're going to charge you with, and Diddy's on the run, then yeah, Suge Knight, telling him turn yourself in makes sense. In this case, it doesn't because Diddy hasn't officially been charged criminally with anything. So let's make that clear. Diddy's not been charged with anything criminally yet. And then he goes on to give him basically prison advice. And he says, you either stand up when you go to the bathroom and you piss, or you sit down. And he's advising him do the stand up part of it, because if you're sitting down, they're basically going to treat you like a female in there, and new holes, let's just say, are going to get teared into Diddy. And then he says, change your name, and don't be Brother Love anymore, because Brother Love, that is not going to fly in prison. That's going to be something else. And, there's been accusations that Diddy does fly that way, so he might be actually in a great place in prison surrounded by a bunch of men. So I don't know, but that was a funny kind of take from Suge Knight and advice to him in the situation. And then Suge Knight goes the normal Suge Knight route of doing conspiracy theories. And then he says basically that Diddy's life is in danger. And the reason why he says this is because Diddy apparently knows secrets. And because of that, they're going to get him if they can. With the Lil Rod lawsuit, there's allegations that Diddy recorded a lot of celebrities at his parties doing bad things. And he has a bunch of blackmail kind of video footage. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on that the police only raided Diddy's place to get those files so that politicians, other celebrities can get protected. And I can see that. Instead of calling it a conspiracy theory, I can actually see that being the truth in the situation. But, Diddy could also go down and say, hey, I know exactly who was at my parties. This is the people that did it. And, take a route that, could be Jeffrey Epstein type of route. So, Suge Knight's right in that aspect. And then the other interesting part is Diddy has dealt with liquor issues with Diageo. He ended up in a lawsuit with them where he claimed that, they weren't really promoting his liquor because it was more of minority liquor and they weren't doing the right part on him and, chipping out of different things. And so they ended up in a lawsuit there, eventually ended up selling it after all these sexual assault lawsuits came out. So he's saying, hey, they kicked Diddy out of the liquor company completely, cleared him out, and all of a sudden Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg got their own company, which is that Gin and Juice, a company that they just launched recently. So he's connecting those dots and saying they all had this planned out to have Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, succeed in their own liquor, whatever. I don't know if it's a liquor. It's not really a liquor. It's a gin and juice drink. So it's alcohol, obviously, but it's not like what Diddy was making. It's a different type of market, but I can see where Suge Knight's going with that. And, Suge Knight's really good at connecting these dots and kind of making a conspiracy theory where people can throw a bunch of questions out. I'm not saying what he's saying is true or false, but what I am saying is just take it with a grain of salt because Suge Knight has a podcast to promote. This is exactly what this video is doing, is actually promoting his podcast. So he's going to say things that are going to get people's attention and stuff like that. But, there is some truth to the fact that Diddy, has, things that he's tied into that deals with a lot of different people that are on high power. Former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry also predicted that Diddy isn't mentally strong enough to deal with going to prison, so he's just going to off himself instead of going to prison. That could be an actual route that Diddy might go because, from being at the top billionaire to getting potentially locked up and facing, each trafficking charge is literally 25 years each one. So you stack that all up, he's never getting out. So that's another route that's potentially gonna, could unfold. It's gonna get really, really messy if the feds actually found stuff that they can prosecute Diddy with. It's gonna get really messy. So there's a lot of different, views on a lot of stuff that's going on with Diddy, but Suge Knight's is always interesting because of the history he's had with Diddy. So Boosie and 50 Cent, man, these two are individuals that don't hold back anything that they're thinking. They're not filtered. They're not politically correct. They say what's on their mind, and they don't care what any of us think. And those two individuals are exactly why everyone wants to hear what they have to say. If you've been on a loop within these past couple of days, Diddy's house got raided. A lot of allegations. Lil Rod, who is one of the producers on Diddy's Love album, accused him of various things and added more to the lawsuit, accusing him of having sex workers, accusing him of being all kinds of stuff in the lawsuit. I mean, lacing drugs to people and just all kinds of crazy, things that the feds decided to raid his house for. I broke that down in previous videos. Boosie and 50 are questioning, where are Diddy's friends, the people in the industry that he's always hung out with, that he's always surrounded himself with? Why aren't they speaking up on behalf of Diddy? Well, there are some doing it, but at a lower level. It's not the higher, like the Jay-Z's or the DJ Khaled's or anybody that was at these huge, insane Diddy parties and these Rock Nation brunches where everybody was getting together and celebrating each other and loving each other. Now that Diddy's going through all these things, Boosie and 50 are asking the right questions and saying, why is nobody supporting Diddy? Why is nobody speaking up for Diddy? And that's a valid question. So first, let's get to Boosie and what he's feeling about the situation. He simply says, hey, there's all these Rock Nation brunches that Diddy has with Jay-Z and these Diddy all-white parties. You remember those all-white parties where everybody would wear white and would be on yachts partying, and Diddy would be the host, and everybody would be loving each other and, showing love to each other and speaking highly of each other. Boosie's saying, where the hell are all these people? Why is nobody saying, hey, this is not the Diddy that I know. I was at these parties. This never happened. Now, there were some people that spoke on it, like Uncle Luke, who said, yeah, I would be at Diddy's parties, but I would leave early. I would never stay that long. And then there are some producers, some people that spoke and said, hey, all love to the victims, like Fat Joe. He basically said, hey, I don't know about the situation. I don't know if it's true or not. He said, I never really experienced anything like that with Diddy. So he just showed love to the victims and Diddy and said, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it. So I'm going to play that clip for you guys actually right now.
You know who may need this?
Who?
Diddy. His hair may go white.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are somewhat friendly.
No. I mean, I didn't say no. Yeah. I know Diddy 30 years. I'm just praying. It's a very sad situation. I don't know enough about it. That's as far as I could go. I stood up last night, maybe 4 hours, praying for him and his kids. His kids, I know them all their life. So, I'm just praying for everybody.
Have you had a chance to talk to him at all since this has been?
Nah, very sad occasion,
What about
I know what you guys know.
Yeah.
That's Fat Joe's take on it. And then there are other individuals that just haven't said a single word. So that's what Boosie's questioning.
I'm just saying, though, all them damn friends he used to have all these years, these athletes, these entertainers, entrepreneurs, putting their glasses up with him, toasting, listening to his speeches.
They probably knew, bro. They probably knew. But now that hit the fan, ain't nobody trying to say nothing for the bro.
Damn, but if you're a friend, you're a friend, G.
Yeah, thanks.
A friend, you're a friend. It's still allegation.
Until the facts come out.
But a friend is a friend.
2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. The game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. Yeah. You understand? Right. And we here together, and we're going to keep staying together. We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else to us. Black excellence.
I don't hear none of them niggas who was at Diddy's shit toasting with that champagne every year, having speeches with, man. Nobody speak up for this man or nothing.
As soon as they say something,
when you're on top of the world, it's a celebration. Bro. When you're on the bottom, it's a denilation.
Bro, the same motherfucker you see going up, you gonna see coming down.
All them motherfuckers, all with them suits on, with their cups up. Ain't nobody said nothing.
They ain't, fool. Man, as soon as they say something, they in the crosshair, fool.
Boy, this world, boy.
As soon as they say something.
This world, boy.
So you was around Diddy too.
That's why you ain't gonna see too many niggas around me. Who was around me before I went to jail? You don't see too many niggas around me. Cause them niggas did me like Diddy people.
And that's true, man. It's funny. Everybody has all these suits on talking about, all being the best and all this stuff. And, we're great. We're gods. We're this and that. And when this happens, nobody says anything. Nobody speaks up. That doesn't make them look guilty, but it does put a little aura around them in terms of like, hey, why isn't nobody saying anything about this? And really the only person actually that is really relentlessly put his foot on Diddy's neck is 50. That's really the only person, like celebrity of that status. We're talking Jay-Z, Eminem, 50, Kanye. Kanye has as well too. So I got to give it up a little bit to Kanye. Kanye's actually said a whole different thing, which we'll talk about in a whole different video. I kind of want to break that down a little bit more. But Boosie's got a point, man. Jay-Z ended up canceling this year's Rock Nation brunch after all the lawsuit allegations came out with Diddy. So that's not happening this year. I don't know if it had to do with the Diddy situation or if Jay-Z just didn't want to do them anymore. But it was quite convenient that he canceled it after all those lawsuits happened to Diddy. So after Boosie made those comments about nobody really speaking out for Diddy, 50 Cent actually reacted to Boosie's comments and posted a photo of Jeffrey Epstein mixed with Diddy on his Instagram page, and this is what he said in the caption. Boosie said, "Where the fuck is his friends? They not saying nothing because they didn't know he was recording everything. LOL, wait till I get the tapes." 50 talked about it earlier, how he wants to, purchase the tapes if possible, and if the feds get their hands on him, he's willing to pay top dollar for them because he's saying it's going to expose a lot of people, and that's exactly what he wants. So that was 50's response to a lot of the stuff Boosie said. 50 asked a more direct question. Where is Jay-Z? 50 likes to troll Jay-Z and Diddy because at one point, they were seen as the top three New York kings. I mean, they even had the I Get Money remix with 50, Diddy, and Jay-Z. And, they're the three kings of New York at the time. And, they've always kind of had like battles with each other in terms of who's the king of New York. Well, 50's having a laugh because obviously Diddy's going through what he's going through. And then he's asking, where's Jay-Z in the situation? They're always at Rock Nation brunches toasting to each other, but Jay-Z hasn't said a single word. Now, does Jay-Z have to say a single word? No, but the question is, if somebody that close to you that you've always spent time with, partied with, whatever you did with, you would typically something would be said about the person to clear his name or to make him look a little bit better or just to say, hey, prayers out to everybody and we hope things get resolved. But Jay-Z hasn't said a single word. So 50 did his antics. He dropped a video saying, I tried to get Jay-Z on the phone. He ain't picking up the phone.
Jay-Z ain't answering the phone?
He ain't answering the motherfucking phone.
And then he put a milk carton of Jay-Z's, like a milk carton, and then Jay-Z's face on it saying, where the hell is Jay-Z? So let's go over the post that 50 done on Instagram relating to Jay-Z. It's quite funny, actually. So like I said, he put up a milk carton missing with Jay-Z's photo, and he said in the caption, anybody seen Jay? LOL. Puff said, the guy ain't answering his phone, LOL. He also posted a photo of Jay-Z waving his hand and said, here's Jay-Z last reported seen waving at Puffy's jet, LOL. And then, a lot of people are saying, hey, 50's petty for dragging Jay-Z into this. A lot of people are speculating. There's literally no proof of any of this, but people are speculating Jay-Z, is tied in with a lot of the Diddy stuff and that all the tapes that Diddy has, he probably has Jay-Z tied in with a lot of the stuff. That's all speculation, guys, though. Don't just go off people's speculation on the internet because that can get really, really bad and it can go through conspiracy deep holes that just end up going crazy. So with that being said, though, what do you guys think? If you had a friend in this situation and you knew this friend very close and they got accused of something that you've never seen with your own eyes or that you never experienced with that guy or that person, that whatever, female, male, whatever, would you speak up for that person? Or would you just let the allegations be the allegations and let him clear his name on his own? Because it's not like if Jay-Z spoke out right now and said Diddy's, Nothing that is accused of Diddy has actually happened. Would those charges go away? But, you know, it would give people a little bit different insight on Diddy and, you know, potentially give people a different perspective. But that's my question to you guys. Would you guys speak out if you guys had a really close friend that you hung out with regularly, that you knew pretty much most of his life, that got accused of things at this level? Would you speak out, or would you just let things play out and see what it is? It's a tricky situation. I personally would always speak out if, you know, I would speak out in terms of, hey, this is what I experienced with my friend. I didn't get these type of things with my friend. But, you know, let the courts play it out how it's supposed to be. Now, if you say that on the internet, there's going to be people saying you're defending the person, which I don't see as defending the person. I see it as just you're telling your experience in that matter with that person. And that's what you know with that person. Continuing on with Diddy-related topics. Finally, the person who bought Diddy's REVOLT shares, as we reported in the last episode, Diddy sold his shares on REVOLT TV. He owns nothing of REVOLT anymore. Well, the person that bought it has revealed his identity. So let's go over the article. Diddy has sold the shares of REVOLT TV, and now the mystery buyer of the network has reportedly been revealed. According to Page 6, Essence Magazine owner and founder of She Moisture Products, Richuli Dennis, has purchased the shares from the embattled bad boy mogul as of Thursday, March 28th. Details of the sale have not yet made public, but Dennis is said to be making an official announcement in the coming weeks. This is what the quote is. The deal is already done, and they are getting ready to announce in the upcoming days, a source close to the situation told the outlet. But of course, now with the raid and everything else going on, it will appear as though he is purchasing after the fact. The source continued, it was important to Sean to get a buyer that was African-American because he wants to keep the legacy of having a black-owned business. He started it off that way, and he wants it to continue on that path. So we'll see what this guy, I've never heard of this guy, no disrespect to him. Clearly he's rich. And, you know, he bought REVOLT TV. I think owners changing hands, as long as they stick to the core of the company, usually things don't go bad. But if they don't stick to the core of the company, we see what we got with Boeing right now. Boeing is doing horrendous. And if you don't know what Boeing is, it's one of the companies that makes these big-ass airplanes that we fly on every single day. And they've completely disregarded quality when it comes to making their airplanes now, because they merged in the 90s, and then the company that merged with them didn't care about quality. All they cared about is shares and how to increase profit. And, you know, when that happens, when you're just looking at increasing profit, you don't care about the safety of people. You don't care about anything. And that eventually backfires. Eventually something like this happens where a bunch of planes are just not crashing, but at least having issues with doors flying off and certain wings not working and wheels flying off and bolts coming out and stuff like that. And that eventually would lead to a crash. You know, we're lucky it hasn't happened yet, but a couple of Boeing planes actually crashed, you know, in overseas. I forget which one, Malaysia one, I think, in 2018, 17, something like that. So as long as this guy keeps the essence of REVOLT, of what Diddy wanted with REVOLT, and it clearly Diddy wanted an African-American owning it, wanted it to be a black-owned business. As long as he keeps that essence and, you know, doesn't cut corners and tries to do things the easy way or whatever. I don't know how that would be possible with a lot of, well, I mean, you could not fund a lot of these platforms that are on REVOLT. I think Drink Champs is one of them. If you just decided, hey, we don't want Drink Champs on here, you know, that could, you know, backfire and things like that, just whatever. So we'll keep our eye out as the announcement comes soon. And we'll see what he has to say about everything that's going on. Because, like I said, Diddy, they're going to run through Diddy's pockets, and they're going to make sure that he is drained financially. That's the number one goal of the feds right now. Because, you know, going up against quote-unquote billionaire is a lot tougher than just going up against, you know, even a millionaire, somebody who's worth $10 million. It's easier to go up against somebody worth $10 million versus $1 billion. $1 billion's a whole different level. So he's got it. He's going to have his top lawyers, and then the feds are going to have their top prosecutors. So that's going to be a whole thing when that gets started. Speaking of lawyers and lawsuits and issues, Travis Scott. So Travis Scott, this is some updates on the Astroworld lawsuits. There's been a lot of them that have been reported, so I don't know exactly which one this is because there's a lot of lawsuits that's gone on. But Travis Scott has responded and wants dismissal of these lawsuits. So why does he want dismissal? Let's go over the article. Travis Scott has made it clear that he doesn't believe the safety of the fans at the Astroworld Music Festival was his responsibility and that he, therefore, should not be involved in an ongoing lawsuit. That's the argument he made in court documents obtained by Billboard on Thursday, March 28th. According to the documents, which were filed by Cactus Jack's attorneys led by Daniel Petrocelli, the rapper, real name Jaquise Berman Webster II, feels that the responsibility for the fans' safety lies with event organizers and a venue's staff. Like any other adrenaline-inducing diversion, music festivals must balance exhilaration with safety and security. But that balance is not the job of the performing artists, even those involved in promoting and marketing performances, Petrocelli wrote, which only makes sense. Performing artists, even those who engage in certain promotional activities, have no inherent expertise or specialized knowledge in concert safety measures, venue security protocols, or site design. He continued, when during festival planning, concerns arose about the risk of stampede occurring in the festival site, the Scott defendants supported festival organizers' efforts to eliminate that risk by agreeing to remove certain rides and other attractions at the site. Then when Scott defendants were told to end the show after Mr. Scott's guest performer finished performing, they did just that, ending the show as directed. The guest performer is that Drake, when he appeared, and Drake, filed a motion to have his name removed from all the Astroworld lawsuits, of course, because Drake doesn't want to be attached to something so negative, which Drake has every right to say. Now, does Travis Scott's lawyer have a point? Yes. I mean, the artist's job is just to perform and entertain. The artist should not be worried about the safety of their fans. That's just the reality of the situation. As much as people want to point the finger at Travis Scott, there are even moments where I thought about pointing the finger at Travis Scott. What does he know about the protocol of a lot of things? And like I said here, right? Before everything even started with Astroworld, they had concerns about safety, so they had to ask certain rides and certain things, attractions, to be removed. And they did that. They followed those guidelines. And then when they said, hey, finish the performance and end the show right here because there's a chaos going in the crowd, they ended it and they finished performance just like they were requested. So I personally think it should fall 100% on Live Nation and every other company involved in setting up the concert, because you can't, they're the ones that have to vet everything, make sure, people aren't half-assing security. They hired a guy through Cash App that had no security history. Like, you got to Live Nation needs to hire professional individuals, people that know to deal with security in the proper way. And they didn't do that with a lot of things. They cut corners. Once again, just like the Boeing thing, if you cut corners, things like this are going to happen. People are going to get hurt, and situations are going to escalate to things like this, where there's multi-million-dollar lawsuits, kids dying. There's a 7-year-old, I believe he was 7 or 9 years old, somewhere around there. He got killed in the whole stampede and things. And that's not what you want, man. That's not what the artist wants. It's not like Travis Scott came out that night and was like, yeah, I want my fans to die and rot in hell. Like, as much as the conspiracy theories think Travis Scott is worshiping the devil when he performs, I doubt that was in his mind, man. I just don't see it. So they have a point, but to get his name removed from it, to have no liability of anything, I don't think that could potentially happen, but I don't know. To me, I don't see it, because there's got to be an aspect where they're going to find that, hey, he should have seen something or stopped something or said something at least. But I mean, like I said, I don't think that's the artist, at the end of the day, I don't think that's the artist's job, man. It's not the artist's job. They have already to focus on performing and entertaining and making sure the people that pay their hard-earned money get, a performance that's worth the money that they paid. That's their job, to make sure you have a great time. Their job is not to make sure security does their job. So, yeah, we'll keep our eye on this, but, this is things that we are expected as the time's gone on. This has been a lot. By the way, this happened in late 2021, guys. We are in 2024. So you can imagine there's probably going to be a couple more years before all this gets settled out. We're probably going to be on season 7 or 8 of the podcast by the time everything gets settled out. That's just the reality of the situation. So we'll keep our eye out, but it's going to be a couple of years when we keep our eye out. Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Golden Eagle for sponsoring this podcast. Yes, if it wasn't for Golden Eagle, this podcast wouldn't be possible. If you're looking for an energy drink that doesn't tear a hole in your pocket, Golden Eagle energy drink is the one you want to get. Golden Eagle has the smoothest taste with no aftertaste. You don't get acid reflux when you drink it, and you will save a lot of money. So check out Golden Eagle at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. The link is in the description below. And how do you think this podcast would be possible without me having energy to do it? Come on, guys. You guys got to remember this. I need energy to do this stuff, man, because there's a lot of crazy topics. So look how smooth this thing sounds. Look at it. Oh my God, it's fresh. Look at that Golden Eagle. Look at the can. It's so beautiful too, man. Look at that. It's so fresh, man. So fresh. Golden Eagle energy drink. Go to the link description below. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Let's continue the episode. Continuing on, 50 Cent. So I wanted to talk about this just because, I think people saying, why aren't you talking about it, Quake? Or do you want to hide the fact that this is happening? Blah, blah, blah. I spoke about it on social media. I'm not, like I said, I'm not biased towards 50. And I think in any way, I think I report on whatever's positive and negative of 50. I reported on a bunch of lawsuits he's faced, threatening people about the power thing where that guy said, hey, you stole my whole power identity, and 50 threatened and stuff like that. So I report on things that are negative, the mic throwing thing and stuff. So when people say I don't report, I'm like, I don't know where you guys are getting this from. So let's report on something that is negative and then, talk about the whole situation. So Daphne Joy, Daphne, I don't know how you pronounce her first name, Daphne, let me just kind of break down the history. She met 50, I believe in 2012, 2011, around there. Funny thing is she was in the Tony Yayo Curious music video. That's how far back she goes in music videos. So she's been a video vixen girl for a while. Me personally, and this is no cast judgment on any rapper or person, I wouldn't see myself having a kid with a video vixen girl. Or any OnlyFans type of girl, or any of these girls that just sell their bodies. That's just me. I'm not interested in that. I like a wholesome girl, and that's it. That's just my take on the situation, because you don't have to deal with these type of things, for the most part, So she, met 50, 2011, 2012, hit it off. They have a kid, and things seem to be good. They eventually break up for whatever reason, and, they're still joint custody. They're taking care of the kid. Everything's cool. The kid loves 50. 50 shows up for the kid all the time. Doesn't have the same relationship as his first son. It's good. Everything's going good. So recently, though, as you guys know, in the last episode, I talked about it, in the Diddy lawsuit, she was named as a sex worker for Diddy. 50 then had his jokes and saying, wow, you little sex worker. Like, I didn't know you were a sex worker, blah, blah, blah. She then responded, and she posted on her Instagram page. And initially, when she posted on her Instagram page, she kept her comments on in the statements, but she actually, disabled comments. So let me go to her page. So on her page, she posted this as a first quote. She disabled comments. Surprisingly enough, the game liked this. So the game is liking all the stuff that's going on. So she said this: I am deeply hurt by the lies in the Rodney Jones lawsuit, which is Lil Rod, who did the whole lawsuit, revealed that Daphne Joy was a sex worker alongside Young Miami and another girl. She said, the claim that I am a sex worker is 100% false and character assassination. I am retaining an attorney to explore all legal remedies against both Rodney and his attorney. Then after that, literally minutes later, she posted this because 50 started trolling her and just saying, you little sex worker, LOL, I didn't know you were a sex worker. And then she responded with this. She said, Curtis James Jackson, everything is a joke to you until our safety is compromised, which is happening now. You're wreaking real havoc, frenzy, and chaos onto people's lives. How would you feel if Sire was the one in handcuffs? For nothing. We moved to New York to give you the opportunity to be a father to your son, and you saw him 10 times out of the 2 years that we lived 1 mile away from you. I'm tired of upholding and protecting an image to our son that you have never even earned. Let's put the real focus on your true evil actions of raping me and physically abusing me. You are no longer my oppressor, and my God will handle you from this point on. You have permanently damaged the last hope I had for you as a father to preserve our family with these last and final false claims made against me. You have broken our hearts for the last and final time. So, first, this statement came after 50 decided to seek sole custody of Sire, the kid. So, it came out immediately in reports that after 50 found out she was a sex worker for Diddy, allegedly, he decided to go to the court, family courts, and seek sole custody. So he wants sole custody of the kid, meaning he wants the kid every day, and that's it. She doesn't get to see the kid. Because in 50's eyes, probably, you know, if he's thinking this is real, right, the sex worker thing, which that's what he's assuming that she actually was, because she was dating, quote unquote dating Diddy for a couple of years. And 50 always kind of poke fun at Diddy because of that and her. So around that time, you know, that's where Lil Rod's claiming that she was a sex worker for him. So in 50's eyes, it's like, I don't want my kid around somebody in that type of dangerous environment. That's how he's viewing it. So he wants sole custody. So after the sole custody thing, this is when she wrote this. So in that light, when you look at it from that light, it looks a little weird. I'm not going to lie. I'm not denying her because she could be telling the truth. But, you know, at that moment, it was just right at the most convenient moment. And if you looked, she disabled the comments now, but if you looked at the comments at the time, like even girls were saying, girl, this is, what are you doing? Like, this is not it. Like, you're just randomly throwing this out there. And here's the funny thing, right? Or the weird thing, at least the thing that didn't make sense to me. If 50 raped you and did these things, why would you move closer to your abuser? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I know you want the family to be closer, but you would not, like, you yourself wouldn't move closer at all. You would probably find a way to make it work where he could see the kid more, but most people don't go closer to their abuse, they go further away. Now, I do have to say that back, I believe in 2013, 50 did get hit with domestic violence charges. And this was really swept under the rug, like, quick. Like, I remember when it came out, like, headlines were there. Next day, nobody really said anything. 50 did speak on it in interviews. I remember he got asked for that. I don't know what interview, what I remember correctly. Probably Hot 97, something like that. But basically what happened was apparently he was kicking her. That's what the reports read. But then once everything got finalized, it was finalized to he just destroyed his own property. And that's it. That's all that happened. So let's go over this article in 2013. This is 2013. American rapper 50 Cent on Monday struck a deal with the Los Angeles prosecutors for 3 years probation and 30 days of community service after allegedly kicking the mother of his child and destroying her property during a June altercation. So 50 said in the interview it was his property because he bought her all the things, but it's her house under her name. So 50 was like, I just got hit with destroying basically my own stuff. That's how he said it in his interview. The 38-year-old rapper, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, pleaded no contest to a single count of misdemeanor vandalism, with 3 vandalism counts and 1 count of misdemeanor domestic violence were dropped, a spokeswoman for Superior Court said. The Grammy winner was accused of kicking open a door at the condominium of his former girlfriend, model Daphne Navarez, who was also known as Daphne Joy, in a Telcola Lake community of Los Angeles, kicking her and destroying a piece of furniture, chandelier, and television. It was revealed after 50 was charged that he had fathered a child with arrears. He must pay $7,100 restitution and $2,390 in fines. 50's attorney, Scott Lehman, also said the rapper will also be attending counseling sessions in August. 50, who could have faced a maximum penalty of 5 years in jail and $46,000 if convicted on all counts, pleaded not guilty to 5 counts before agreeing to the plea deal. You know, he could have actually done these things to Daphne. He could have actually kicked her. He could have actually done these things. If he did that, honestly, I look at 50 in a whole different light at that point. I know I say this and people are like, you know, you would never 50. No, like if there was like, if Daphne had the kind of Rihanna type of proof where, you know, Rihanna got beat in her face and then, you know, like if she had that posted after 50 had visited, like I could never see 50. I could never respect somebody who puts their hands on a woman, period. I don't care who you are. It's just, it's the most pussiest bitch thing that you can do. So apparently he got all those charges removed and only one thing, which is that little destroying like her property. That's it. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't have evidence. Maybe 50's lawyers are just that good and maybe she settled things and didn't want to like ruin things, whatever. But in that aspect, she's not lying. The whole abusing me. Now, what I mean by she's not lying is when she said it in this, that, hey, you've been abusing me, it goes back to 2013. There's some proof of that in terms of police reports and, actual thing that happened where they went to court. Now, is there any proof in terms of photos, videos? No, nothing like that, but it was documented in court documents and stuff like that. So that she's not lying about. But the raping thing, he's never been accused of that, never, a single time, never. So it was a weird timing of things. And then 50 responded, released a statement first, which is PR did. It said this is what 50 said. The disturbing allegations and the sworn pleadings recently filed in court case related to Daphne Joy, the mother of my 12-year-old child, has required me to take all necessary legal actions to protect my son, sire. The most recent false and baseless accusations by Daphne Joy are clearly in response to my decision to seek sole custody of my son. My son, sire, is my main priority, and keeping him safe in a safe environment is my only focus at this time. So 50 responded to her and posted a photo of Diddy and her and said this: "You moved a mile away in hopes of having another baby with me, but I was busy. So you moved back. Then you started receiving money from Brother Love. Now here you are, a little sex work." That shit's ridiculous. No, he nailed that out of the park, though. Now you're starting receiving money from Brother Love. Because here's the thing, man. Here's how I view it, and I'm not dismissing Daphne at all, but when has 50 had a problem with a female that wasn't a baby mama? He's dated Chelsea Handler. He's dated Sierra. Who has he dated? I can't even think of. Vivica Fox. They've all spoken highly of him. Like, never said he put his hands on them. They said he's a sweetheart, all this stuff. But the baby mamas, the ones who have a financial incentive, because when you think about it, when you have a kid with 50, most of these women did, they were getting child support money. They're getting a financial incentive to be with 50, and that's it. It's a financial, basically, for them. I'm not saying that these kids, they don't view these kids as they love them. I'm not saying that the mothers don't love their kids. I'm just saying there's a financial backing behind all this stuff. With the women that he dated, there was no financial thing. It was, hey, I like you, you like me, we're dating. That's it. You're rich, I'm rich, we're dating. Cool. Vivica Fox, rich. Chelsea Handler, rich. Sierra, rich. These women, Daphne and the first one, I think Shaniqua, Daphne was probably a little, more well off than Shaniqua, but they have a financial incentive with this. Because if 50 gets sole custody of the kid, I think child support goes, I don't know how child support works, but I think that goes away if you get sole custody of the kid, because why are you paying child support at that point? She can't look after the kid anymore. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but that's what I would assume. If somebody gets full custody of the kid, child support is to pay for that kid's lifestyle when he's living at her mother's or dad's house. That's what child support is. So child support gets removed immediately after that. So you lose money. You lose financial incentive. That's what I'm talking about in this situation. So I'm not dismissing her, and if she has proof of it, the day that that comes out, I will shit on 50 right here on this podcast, and I won't fuck with them like that anymore. Now, will I still like his music here and there? Yeah, I think I can. I don't know. Sometimes it's gonna be hard. It'll be a very sad moment for me, but it's gonna be very hard to disconnect from the music of 50. But as a person, I will view him completely different if that's the case. Continue on. He just kept trolling her. I mean, he went in. I mean, he posted one of our posts, which is really cool. But then, he said, "It is what it is. See you in family court, sex worker." So, yeah, 50 was just going in on that, and he just kept even at the Nicki Minaj. He went out as a surprise guest at the Nicki Minaj concert, and I love all you, even you little sex workers, and all that stuff. So, we'll keep our eye on this, man. We'll see what happens. I think, if she has solid proof that he actually did that. This is a weird timing of it. That's all I'm saying. It's like right now you say this. All these years, 10 plus years that you guys have dated and have to deal with the child and all that stuff. Now you say it, and there's a financial backing behind it. It's a weird thing, man. So, yeah, we'll keep our eye on. We'll see. Speaking of 50, shout out to me, man. I'm always out here breaking news when it comes to 50. I was looking at touring data numbers, and I found out that basically 50's touring data numbers for the Final Lap Tour are astronomical. We're talking levels that people would never assume from 50. So the Final Lap Tour, the numbers right now updated are, this is out of 71 shows reported out of 103. So you're still missing 32 shows left in terms of revenue. He's generated on the Final Lap Tour $84,400,863 303. So basically $84.4 million with an average of $1.1 million per show. You know how insane that is? He sold 934,000 tickets with a 13,000 average per arena that he was at. And this is only 71 out of the 103 reported shows. The average price per ticket was $90, which is nothing. If 50 was charging what Drake charges, which is insane, like if nosebleed seats for Drake are $300, like easy. But 50 wasn't charging that. Shout out to him. He was actually, caring about fans pulling up and stuff. So some tickets were literally cheap. I saw him $60 somewhere, depending on how close he got, $400 or $500. But I didn't see, unless you were really, really, like, I'm talking like you could see 50 sweating and his sweat's falling on your face that close, like maybe 1,000 I saw here and there. But for the most part, I saw like price points of being really close, about $500. With that, though, I crunched some numbers and I ended up posting, ended up looking like what's the biggest tour. I know Kendrick had the title with the Big Steppers tour for a little while, and Drake ended up breaking it. So this is what I found out. So I said, this is what I found out. So Drake holds the number one spot with It's All a Blur tour, which made $129.7 million in just 30 out of 72 shows. So he's already surpassed 50 and like washed him. Like it's not even a question. That's only 30 shows. So that's what I mean. Is Drake's average price per ticket was probably $300-$400, which is like 5, 6, 7 times what 50's was. So that's why he made a lot more money on that. Plus, I believe 21 Savage was with him with that tour. So they're more relevant. Drake and 21 Savage are way more relevant musically than 50 is. That's just the reality of the situation. So you expect him to do that. Then Kendrick Lamar holds the number 2 spot with the Big Steppers tour, which generated $110.9 million in 73 shows. $110.9 million, which is still astronomical. 50's nowhere near $110.9 million, and he's at 71 shows. So that just tells you Kendrick's price per ticket was very big. Continuing on, I said this, and this is what when I broke down the numbers. I said at this rate, 50 could generate a total of $35.2 million based off the shows that haven't been reported. So he's got 32, I believe, shows that weren't reported, thus totaling his final tour revenue numbers at $119.2 million, which would surpass Kendrick Lamar's numbers, making his tour the second best grossing hip-hop tour of all time. Hip-hop. I know there's Beyonce and Jay-Z tour that did insane numbers, but I don't really consider that hip-hop because Beyonce's more of a pop artist. Now, if you do, then it's different numbers, but hip-hop-wise, just straight hip-hop artist, Drake. I mean, Drake can be considered pop here and there, but most people consider him hip-hop. Kendrick hip-hop, 50 hip-hop. That's wild, though, to think this guy hasn't released a new album since 2014, hasn't been relevant musically in ages, and still did these numbers. That just goes to show his music has stood the test of time and hasn't aged badly like people on social media want you to believe. People shit on 50's albums and say, the only album he's got is Get Rich or Die Trying. Nah. You go to the Final Lap Tour, he's playing shit off Massacre, playing shit off Curtis, playing shit off Before I Self-Destruct. He was playing mixtape records. So 50 has a huge catalog of music that a lot of people know. And he did his thing, man. And I posted this, and then literally within like, I want to say 30 minutes to an hour, 50 Cent posted our post on his page, which was, this is like the 3rd or 4th time it's happened to us, which was amazing. He said this: "Whistle while you work, guys. That's my theme for today. I made all this money and I'm practicing abstinence. I don't want a little sex worker." Which I don't know why you had to add that in there, but yeah, insane, man. Insane. So I'm glad that 50 posted it, shared it. Really cool to see my logo on 50's page. Really, really cool, man. And he's the top 3. He's about to be in the top 3, probably number 2. Well, obviously, when Drake finishes his tour with J. Cole, he's probably going to take the number 2 slot. So 50 realistically is probably going to be number 3. So he'll be in the top 3 for a while, probably until another rapper does a major tour like that. Now, people are wondering, where's Eminem on this list? Listen, Eminem hasn't fucking toured since like 2005, guys. Let's just be realistic here. Let's see. I just want to see, when's the last time Eminem tours? I'm just curious. I really want to see. When's the last time this motherfucker toured? The Monster Tour? That wasn't even that many shows. Don't be bullshitting me. Yeah, that was like 6-7 shows. I think it was the Anger Management Tour, right? Anger Management 3 or something like that. Or the Recovery Tour. Actually, the Recovery Tour had quite a few dates. Was it that much dates? No, but yeah, Eminem hasn't like took a full like that Final Lap tour that 50 did since like, I don't know. You want to say 2005? I think the Anger Management Tour, right? That was like the last. Yeah, so the third tour took place in summer 2005. Let me see. I'm about to actually see how much Eminem's Anger Management Tour make. Eminem 2005, Eminem 50 Cent's Anger Management Tour, which grossed $22.7 million from 23 shows. So yeah, that's not even that much tours. When is the last time Eminem did like a fucking 60, 70? I don't know, but all I know is if Eminem did that type of tour, like 50 did, 103 shows, which is just astronomical. Like, I don't think people are registering in their head how much 103 shows is in a year. That's ridiculous. Basically, every 3 days you're performing. Because we have 365 days in a year. Basically, every 3 to 4 days you're performing somewhere, doing something. But it's usually not like that because I'm stretching out for the whole year. 50 did this from, I think, June till all the way till November, December. So in about 6-7 months. So he's performing basically every other day, traveling different countries and stuff. So that's like gruesome, like hard work. Like that's not light to do. That's why Eminem hasn't done a tour like that, because it's very, very hard work. And at Eminem's age, I don't think he's ever going to tour a tour like that. If he does, God bless Eminem's soul, because I would immediately. I regret not going to the Michigan show. I got free tickets offered. I was just in a bind because I was dealing with my Audi R8, and I was dealing with a bunch of things on that, and then I was just too much shit going on, so I couldn't go, and I was just so pissed because he brought out Eminem, and that would have been my only time seeing Eminem and 50 perform together and seeing Eminem for the first time. So I was upset about that, but if Eminem did this type of thing, I would automatically buy tickets. Everyone would. He would gross like 300, 400 million. It's not even a question. Not even a question. So I hope he does, man. I hope this next album that comes out, he actually does a tour. That'd be really great, man. I think hopefully, 50 inspired him with that, but we don't know. So yeah, continuing on, shout out to 50 for that. Continuing on, Kodak Black. So Kodak Black's been sued by a limo company. Let's go over the article. Kodak Black has been sued by a tri-state area limousine company for more than $600,000, with their attorneys for the company claiming that the rapper would rack up bills totaling more than $200,000 a month. According to court documents obtained by Hip Hop DX, Kodak was sued as of Wednesday, March 27th by I&D Concierge based on Queens, New York. Commencing in September 2018, defendants engaged plaintiff's services and began using plaintiff for its transportation needs on a regular basis. Read their complaint in part from September 2018 to December 2023. Defendants' charges with plaintiffs average approximately $150,000 to $200,000 per month. That is an astronomical amount of numbers paying. The complaint continued between January 2023 and December 2023 in accordance with the agreement and terms between the parties, as well their course of dealing. Plaintiff provided defendants pursuant to their specific instance, request, and confirmed order. The following services totaled $618,000. Wow. However, Kodak Black's attorney, Bradford Corn, told TMZ that per outlet, I&D took full advantage of his client when he was going through a rough patch and capitalized on the situation. So, who knows, man? That's a lot of money, though. Yeah, we'll keep our eye on this. I just wanted to talk about it because, yeah, Kodak hasn't left lawsuits in a minute. Speaking of legal trouble and stuff, BG. So BG got released, and he's getting punished for basically being a rapper. That's all I see how this is. It's very disrespectful, and it's very unfortunate for BG. So let's go over the article. BG has put himself at risk of returning to prison after his probation officer discovered that the ex-Hot Boy did a performance with Boosie Badass without permission. That's ridiculous. The Guardian is reporting that the rapper violated his probation when he performed with the Baton Rouge native because convicted felons are not permitted to associate with other convicted felons as a term and condition of their release. The offending performance in question happened on February 8th when the Louisiana rappers shared an emotional moment upon reuniting for an appearance at the Wet Las Vegas Adult Entertainment After Hours nightclub. In social media clips shared by fans who were present at the time, the rap veterans could be seen embracing each other. The Hot Boys MC took the stage at the venue later that night with 21 Savage in the audience. Another condition of BG's release requires him to obtain prior written approval before entering self-employment, which he did not do when released. Choppers and bricks with Gucci Mane, who is also a convicted felon. The New Orleans MC's probation officer filed a warrant for his arrest on March 21st, claiming that BG had violated his probation several times. The probation officer also told BG to find other methods of employment, to which he reportedly replied, "I'm a rapper. That is my profession." U.S. District Judge Susie Morgan of New Orleans signed off on an arrest warrant a day later. Dorsey was arrested in Las Vegas and appeared in a federal courthouse there on March 27th. Reported the outlet, after being ordered released on his own recognizance, he was told to appear in federal court in New Orleans as required while officials deliberate whether or not to revoke his supervised release and reincarcerate him. Wow. He literally, like, the lady was like, find a different profession. Like, this is my profession, lady. I'm an artist. Like, what the fuck you want me to do? Do you want me to go mop floors or sell fries at McDonald's? Like, what the fuck you want me to do? That is just weird. Now, I do think that BG needs to be a little bit more professional. His people should have been more professional. And just clear things out, kind of got the paperwork ready, because it says here, he didn't, what does it say here? He obtained prior written approval before entering self-employment. He didn't do that. So, you've been locked up multiple times, BG. You should know the kind of ins and outs of this, or your team or your lawyer, somebody should say, hey, you got to do this and this before you can start performing, and make sure that, hey, if you're going with convicted felons, I mean, you can't keep I want to be able to keep track of who's a convicted felon or not and who I can't perform with. There's a lot of rappers that are convicted felons. Like, I can't sit there and be like, oh, are you convicted? Boosie, hey, before I come to your concert and perform with you, are you a convicted felon? Oh, okay, let me go check if I can perform with you. Like, that's not going to happen, man. Most of these artists run into each other at random times and just things happen and they perform together. So we'll keep our eye on this, but it's bullshit. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. BG is an artist. He should be able to do his profession, and hip-hop should not be viewed, his profession should not be viewed as criminal activity. That's the way I'm taking this, is it's getting viewed as criminal activity. He's trying to turn his life around, but if he's constantly getting dragged down trying to make music, what the fuck? Then what do you expect him to do? Find a different profession? Like, no, this is my profession. I make a lot of money, and this is what feeds my fucking family. I'm not just going to sit here and change my whole life because of a probation thing. Get the fuck out of here, man. So that pissed me off, so I just want to talk about it. Shout out to BG, man. Hold your head up. It's bullshit. Continuing on, this is where I'm going to go in on Aubrey Drake Graham. Drake, I waited 4 days. Where y'all at? I'm tired of this, man. The whole Diddy thing kind of got us distracted for a little bit, but Drake, where is your response? You had this insane energy for Meek Mill. Respond. Everybody's going in on Meek Mill's neck. Respond. Meek Mill was on tour with Nicki Minaj. Is that a world tour or a girls tour? Come on, man. Meek Mill at least responded. It wasn't the best response, but damn it, he said, you know what? Y'all want a response? I'm going to respond. Where's your excuse? You had 4 days off from your tour. And then people are throwing out lyrics. Oh, Drake said this when he's in battles. I'm the bigger artist, so I have to be more calculated. That's what Drake said in whatever fucking song he said those bars at. I'm the bigger artist, I have to be more calculated. I get it. All right, Kendrick is... Here's the... before I get into this, let's first go over the article. I'm going to talk a little bit later. So there is this artist by the name of BFB the Pac-Man, which I have no fucking idea who it is. And I said that on Twitter, and somebody said, how do you not know? Bro, I'm not going to know every fucking rap that's ever existed. Basically, on a song called Olympic Shit Talkin', which is a fire title that was supposed to feature Drake, according to this guy. But he said he couldn't get it cleared because Kendrick's diss came out. with the diss, and he put everything on hold. So people were actually expecting. Here's what happened. The night before the albums come out, sometimes in overseas, people on Spotify and Apple Music get the album a little bit earlier, a couple hours earlier. So fans of that were fans of Drake and people a fan of this BFB guy were checking out the album and going on the song Olympic Shit Talk and noticing that Drake's not on the song at all. He responded and said, hey, Drake is on the song. TuneCore has the final version where Drake submitted his verse. That's what he said. TuneCore is a distribution platform. So we're expecting Drake updated his verse. That's from looking outside in, you're thinking, okay, Drake just submitted his verse. Clearly, he updated it to potentially respond to Kendrick. And the title's Olympic Shit Talk. And that's just like a great title to respond. What fucking better title do you want to respond? Had Drake actually been on here and featured and the song took off and he got these guys like a top 10 hit or somehow got him a number 1 hit off this, which would be insane, I bow down. Drake's the GOAT. Like, if you can get no-name ass rappers, no disrespect to these guys, nobody really knows them that much. Now, they probably, do some decent streams, but they're not on mainstream level. If I don't know them, shit, the average hip-hop fan doesn't know them. If Drake got on there and boosted that song so much up that it even became a top 10 hit as a diss track, I would have been like, Kendrick, yeah, it's just something else. But Drake would have been a whole different tier level because Drake's actually given stimulus packages to a lot of artists that we didn't know. I mean, Block Boy JB, Look Alive. We have no idea who that guy was until Drake jumped on that record and did his thing and gave him like a number 3 hit on the Hot 100, which is insane. Or number 1. I don't even know I think it went number 1. Regardless, we were waiting on that. Didn't happen. Then you have all these fucking videos and captions from Drake. He's on tour. He's yelling out when he's performing energy. A lot of energy. They ain't fucking with me. Like he's yelling aggressively. Captions on IG left and right about, you guys sold out, this and that, some bullshit, whatever captions that he's got. All this shit. But think for a little bit. On back-to-back, trigger fingers turn Twitter fingers. Like, you're doing the same shit. You're posting IG captions. You're not responding, Drake. And why is that? Here's my theory. Here's why Drake is taking his sweet time responding. One, I think he's genuinely scared because Adam Ross, the streamer on Twitch or whatever fuck platform, Kick, or whatever he streams on, he said that he got word that Kendrick Lamar already has a diss track planned if Drake responds. So Drake sees that, and his Drake's friend Chubbs was like, oh, he says some shit like, he's scared. Let him drop the song. He's scared. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Chubbs? You're making no damn sense. He already dropped a diss track, direct diss track. It's Drake's time. The ball's in Drake's court. He needs to respond. How is Kendrick scared when he's the one that ignited this shit directly? He's not the scared one, Chubbs. Get out of here, man. You're too much of Drake's buddy friend. So I can expect that from that guy. Regardless, here's why I think Drake is scared. One, he's sitting here and he's like, hey, Kendrick has a response track. So if I'm going to respond, I got to be very calculated, have a response track to his response track. At least that's Drake. Drake is a very calculated individual. I'm not even joking. If you go to a lot of these diss tracks, they're like released on dates and times when this and this happened, and this is the reason why it's titled this and this. He's calculated. So he's seeing Kendrick is very calculated too. So he's worried about that, I'm sure. That's one thing. Two, this is the first time in a Drake beef battle where somebody matches him lyrically and matches him with star power. Drake has never had that. Drake has never had somebody match lyrically and with star power. Now, he's had people match lyrically. Joe Budden cooked him, but doesn't have the star power. People don't give a fuck. Pusha T cooked him. Doesn't have the star power. So people are saying, oh, where's Pusha T now? Nobody cares. In my eyes, I love Joe Budden and Pusha T, but that's just how the public viewed it. The star power wasn't there to do really, really a lot of damage to Drake. However, with Kendrick, there is star power. With Meek Mill, I think Meek Mill has lyrical ability, but he didn't match lyrical ability. He somewhat matched the star power. Meek's the biggest artist that Drake has beefed with. That's just a reality situation. But he's scared because now you got Kendrick Lamar, a guy who's lyrically matching Drake, or even better than Drake lyrically, and then matches him somewhat with star power. Now, I know Drake is the biggest period right now. Like, that's not even a debate. But Kendrick is up there. You know, the whole big three. Like, Kendrick's up there. If you had to list them in what, the top 10 biggest artists in hip-hop in 2024, Kendrick's in the top 10, period. Drake would probably be number one, and then you put Travis Scott and all these other characters, J. Cole and whoever else you put in the mix, but Kendrick's there. He's probably even top 5. So he's matching him in star power. There's a huge Kendrick fan base. There's a huge Drake fan base. That's got him shaking his boots as well. I think that's another reason why he's like, okay, I have to be very careful with this because it can go really left. The third thing I think is the whole Pusha T beef changed his view on battling artists. He thought he could cook Pusha T because he doesn't have the star power, and he probably thinks Pusha T can't. Now, I think he knew Pusha T can rap, but just Pusha T's approach and his strategy just destroyed Drake. So that got him thinking, oh, if Kendrick has already something going on with another diss track, he's probably got shit planned out. I need to be very careful because it can end up like the Pusha T situation. Now, hip-hop hardcore fans view Pusha T beating Drake in that. That's just a reality situation. You ask a hardcore hip-hop. I'm not saying that Drake's Duppy freestyle was bad. It was amazing. It was immaculate. I listen to it to this day. I love the fucking beat. But Pusha T just washed him. Just washed him. That's not even a question to me. So that got Drake thinking, okay, Pusha T did this type of damage. Let me be a little bit more calculated in how I approach this Kendrick thing, because clearly Kendrick's got things planned and knows what to do. That's the third thing. Fourth, and this is trauma from the Pusha T thing as well. He's going to, and I would not be surprised, and I said this on previous episodes, he's going to shift the attention to Future and Rick Ross. That's what he's going to do. He's going to ignore the Kendrick situation, and he's going to go mainly to probably Future, because Future, here's the thing, Future has the star power of Drake, but he doesn't have the lyrical ability. Nowhere near the lyrical ability of Drake. So it's easy hit for Drake. Easy. But the star power is there. But still, that's that trauma from Pusha T. Because what happened after Pusha T cooked him? Oh, all of a sudden the attention shift to Kanye West. All of a sudden I got this hardcore diss track towards Kanye West that if it releases, oh, it's going to destroy everybody. It's going to destroy relationships. It's going to destroy families. Remember when, what's his name, man? Why is it slipping my mind? Remember from Houston, what's that guy's name, man? Mob Ties. Why am I slipping in his name? Sorry, it took me a while, but Jay Prince. Jay Prince is his name. Why am I slipped that up completely? But Jay Prince jumped in the whole thing, and all of a sudden Drake has this diss track that would destroy everybody in Kanye's family and all this stuff, and then Jay Prince jumped in. Oh, we're not gonna release. I stepped in to make sure that it didn't get released because, come on, man, don't tease a diss track and then be like, nah, I'm not gonna release because it's gonna do all this damage. That's the dumbest shit you could do. That Pusha T thing just spiraled into bad things for Drake in the battle. So he's got so much trauma from that this Kendrick thing can go left so quick because finally you got somebody that's matching your lyrical ability and your star power. So now, if you look at all these tracks back to back and waited 4 days, where y'all at? All these bars sound corny as fuck now because you're doing the same shit that you criticize Meek Mill. Same shit. You're writing IG captions. You're ignoring the situation. You're sounding aggressive like you're about to cry on stage. Drake, where you at? We're not going to get distracted from the Puffy situation. All right? We know Puffy touching butts and stuff, whatever. That's a whole different situation. We're talking about you, man. Where's the battle? Kendrick directly gave it. By the way, shots were at Cole, too. So Cole never hasn't said shit on Instagram, social media, nothing. So Cole's probably going to come back with a track like an artist is supposed to be. But, everybody's different. Drake's more social media active. So with that, I'm just frustrated in the whole thing. I think Drake is ducking and dodging right now. And all the Drake fans that deny that are just denying the fact that, hey, what Drake criticized Meek Mill for, he's doing the exact same thing right now. I don't care if he's a bigger artist. Doesn't matter to me. Kendrick's big too. So that whole thing of, oh, this person's big and this person should wait. No, we are at war. Hip hop is a competitive sport. Damn it. All right. I don't know how the fuck Kanye inserted himself into this, but Kanye inserted him into this whole Kendrick and Drake beef. It's quite funny, actually. Let's go over the article. Kanye West has added another dimension to his ongoing feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. I didn't know he even had a feud with Kendrick Lamar by entering the race as a third-party candidate. Earlier this week, Ye shared his 2016 collaboration with K-Dot, No More Parties in L.A. on social media, leading many to believe that he was siding with the latter in an aforementioned beef. It now turns out that the only team the Chicago native plays for is his own, as he refuses to step down from his captaincy in any way, shape, or form. On Thursday, March 28th, Yeezy shared a since-deleted note on Instagram and took a sole credit for a number of notable accomplishments over the past few years, all of which involved collaborating with other creatives. He said this: "Everyone knows I watched Kendrick on No More Parties in LA. Everyone knows I watched Drake at the Free Hoover concert. Everyone knows I brought Adidas into this culture and I took them out. Everyone knows Lada, Dima, Virgil, Jerry, Kim all worked for me." It continued, "I made Yeezus, Dark Fantasy, Pablo, Graduation, Throne, 808s. I made Runaway, Devil in a New Dress, Father Stretch. I am the only person to come back to number one after cancellation. There is only one GOAT. I stand by me. My friends call me Ye," with a smiley face. So, hey man, a lot of stuff he's speaking facts. Let's just be. I don't know about the wash thing, but he did beat Drake in that Free Hoover concert. Like everybody, even Drake was in awe when that was happening. He did bring Adidas to a forefront where they're making billions upon billions more dollars. And he dropped lots of great albums, man. Graduation is obviously my favorite, but Dark Twisted Fantasy, 808s is up there. Watch the Throne, all these tracks, and he is the only person right now that I know to get canceled and come back with a number one hit. So, Kanye has his right, but to just be jumping in this randomly, it's funny. That's typical Kanye, in typical Kanye fashion. Speaking of Kanye, there's reports that there's footage that, when Diddy came to Rolling Loud, there was footage actually. That was actually one of the first times Diddy was spotted in public. And according to TMZ, he was going to confront Kanye at Rolling Loud. So let's go over the article. Kanye West allegedly had no interest in meeting with Diddy after the producer wanted to link up at Rolling Loud. According to TMZ report from Thursday, March 28th, the Bad Boy founder and his crew set up camp backstage at the festival to watch Ye and Ty Dolla $ign and expressed to Yeezy's team that Diddy wanted to meet after the set. The report continued that West had no interest in linking with Diddy, or at the very least wasn't going to go out of his way for some FaceTime. So it was only 2 years ago that the Carnival rapper and I'll Be Missing You MC were beefing, so it is not known why Diddy may want to meet with Kanye. The two took their issues public when they had a heated exchange over Ye's White Lives Matter t-shirt controversy. The Chicago-born rapper took to his Instagram page with a series of posts showing fans the conversation he was having with Diddy and made it loud and clear he wasn't going to let his peers stop him from doing what he needs to do. So, remember, then Kanye said, "You're a Fed, fuck you." And then he went on Drink Champs and said he can only act tough because he's with the Feds, which is interesting. I want to actually deep dive into that, so I'm going to do that probably another time. But that is another interesting thing in itself, that the whole Fed thing that Diddy's getting accused of. A lot of people are kind of throwing that out there, that he worked with the Feds for a while and snitched on people and did certain things. So I don't know what truth is to that, but Kanye thinks that. Gene Deal, his former bodyguard, thinks that. So I don't know, but we'll keep our eye out on all this stuff with Kanye inserting himself with Diddy and all that. So continuing on, Bun B is facing issues with his Trill Burgers company because it's a successful company. And once you get success, what happens? People want money. People want to sue. People want to say everything. I found this. I created this burger. Oh, I created this piece of chicken and sandwich and slice and whatever. Continuing on, Bun B has been accused of stealing a burger recipe from his fellow Trill Burgers co-founders amid an ongoing dispute kicked off by a lawsuit filed by the Houston Icon's attorneys. The UGK rapper co-founded Houston burger spot Trill Burgers in 2020 with siblings Patsy and Benson Vieira's, as well as Andy Nguyen and Nick Scurfield. In legal issues that have been swirling for over a year, Trill's Burgers have been accused of various Vivari's siblings of misappropriating funds from the company, while the brother and sister duo have hit back and claimed that Bun B and co stole their burger recipe. According to Houston Chronicle, the UGK rapper and partners Eugene and Scurfield filed a lawsuit against the siblings in August, accusing them of stealing $45,000 to pay off debts associated with another restaurant owned by the Vivaris. In January, the brother-sister duo filed a number of counterclaims, including the allegation that they originated the recipe that would become known as the OG Trill Burger. The Vivaris spent a lot of time and energy developing the recipe. Their attorney, Saad Aziz, told the Chronicle they are the ones who kind of came up with the specifics of the smash burger, now called the OG Trill Burger. The Vivaris allege that they invented the recipe for the original Trill Burger and later partnered with Nugent, who then brought on Bun B and Scurfield. The Vivaris are seeking $1 million from Bun B, Scurfield, Nugent, and the Trill Burgers LLC. They also claim that the Trill Burgers poached chef Mike Pham from the siblings, a charge denied by the company. Trill Burgers also claimed that Patsy and Benson Vivaris did not come up with the recipe for the OG Trill Burger. They say it was developed years ago by Nugent and another chef, Fernando Villardares. The Vivaris siblings originally ran Sticky's Chicken and partnered with Bun B in 2021. Trill Burgers originally ran as a pop-up, making its first appearance at Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, where it was a big success. After the event, the siblings and the rest of the partners began falling out when the Vivaris accused of stealing thousands of dollars. The Vivaris are accused of stealing $45,000 from Trill Burgers to pay off debts incurred by Sticky's Chicken, which they deny. In turn, the siblings accused Bun B of misappropriating funds by purchasing high-end car to promote the business. The rapper denied the claim and said the vehicle was rented and was a sedan. Bun's lawyer, Charles Adams, called the allegation that his client misappropriated funds to buy the car horrifying and offensive. In June 2022, the partners had a meeting, and the siblings were asked to forfeit their share of the business. The Vivaris allegedly agreed to give up their claim in business at this meeting. So they're out, but they're claiming that, hey, you're suing us for $45,000, but you did all this stuff. You took our recipe, and you're running with the recipe, which I don't know if you can sue for that. If you actually gave them the recipe and the rights to it, I don't know if you can patent recipes. I don't know if you can or not. I know the genius thing that the Coca-Cola founder did was never patent the formula, because if you patent it after a couple of years, you can, I don't know what the time is, but after the patents expire, patents expire, so then, knockoff versions of that can come out, basically other versions, so that, it can be a competitive market. So if you patent these type of things, they end up, the formula gets released. The Krabby Patty formula. Shout out to SpongeBob and Krusty Krab. So you don't want to patent things if you don't want the recipe being released so people know. So Coca-Cola never patented the recipe because they would have to eventually release the recipe, and then people would copy and mimic. A lot of people try to copy the Coca-Cola formula but haven't been able to do it after all these years. So with that, I don't know. I don't know what they did with that in terms of paperwork, but if they got accused of stealing $45,000, there has to be proof of that. They're going to go through a lot of court things. It's unfortunate, though. Right when they made their first appearance at the Houston Livestock Show and they were a big success, fallouts happen. Why is that, man? I hate that. I don't know why people do this. They shoot themselves in the foot and it just causes more and more problems. It's like, don't do that, man. Succeed, figure out ways to work through the problems, and you guys all could succeed and expand this business far and beyond. So I actually I've been wanting to taste. I've gone vegan for the most part. I only eat chicken. That's it. I don't even eat dairy or any meat and stuff, but I would actually eat one of these burgers just to try it out. I wouldn't mind doing it. So if I ever go to Houston, so I need to do that. But we'll keep our eye on this, man. Bun B's obviously going to be dealing with a lot of issues when it comes to this. And as the business expands, more and more stuff like that's going to happen. So, yeah, we'll keep our eye out. New music, let's get into it. Beyonce dropped her album, Cowboy Carter. And it's on pace to do 350,000 first week, which is astronomical numbers. Check that out. Camila Cabello, Playboy Cardi dropped I Love It. Kodak Black dropped Non-Believer. A Boogie dropped Steppas. Moneybagg Yo and Rob 49 dropped Bussin'. Trippie Redd and MGK dropped their collab album, Genre. Sad Boy. G Herbo dropped Subject. DJ Premier and Snoop Dogg dropped Can You Dig That? IDK and Joey Badass dropped Denim. So shout out to all these people. Bossman Low and Glorilla dropped Finesse. Shout out to them too. Album sales. Future and Metro Boomin, man, they came out with a bullet at number 1, man. 250,000 sold first week. We Don't Trust You. Shout out to them. They're also going to get the number 1 hit with Like That with Kendrick coming up on Billboard Hot 100. So number 1 album, number 1 hit. Great success, man. Shout out to them. Olivia Rodrigo Guts went up to from number 19 last week to number 2. 73,000 sold. Ariana Grande, Eternal Sunshine, 71,000 sold. Number 4, Morgan Wallen, One Thing at a Time, 66,000 sold. Number 5, Noah Khan, Stick Season, number 43,000 sold. Number 6, SZA, SOS, 39,000 sold. Number 7, Taylor Swift, Lover, 39,000 sold. Number 8, Debut, Hozier, Unheard, debuted at number 8 with 38,000 sold. Number 9, Zach Bryan's self-titled album, 38,000 sold. Taylor Swift, 1989, number 10 with 36,000 sold. Scrolling down, Drake, For All the Dogs at number 12 with 34,000 sold. Travis Scott, Utopia, number 15 with 31,000 sold. Kanye West, Ty Dolla $ign, Vultures at number 16 with 30,000 sold. 21 Savage, American Dream at number 22 with 24,000 sold. Take Care at number 40 with 18,000 sold. SZA, Control, number 41 with 17,000 sold. Lil Baby, My Turn, number 42 with 17,000 sold. Metro Boomin, Heroes and Villains at number 44 with 17,000 sold. Joyner Lucas debuted at number 45. Now I'm Not Busy album, 17,000 sold. I heard it was a great album. I got to check that out. Eminem, Curtain Call, number 47 with 16,000 sold. Kendrick Lamar, Damn, number 48 with 16,000 sold. So shout out to everybody selling their albums. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. Always support Golden Eagle Energy Drink, powered by Golden Eagle Energy Drink. Go to drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Get yourself a 24-pack. We're looking into reducing it from 24-pack to 12-pack. This isn't a super big company in America, so it's more expensive when you get smaller packs because freight and all that stuff. So if you guys can't get the 24-pack, I totally understand. If you guys can get the 12, please do so. It tastes like Red Bull, so if you like the original Red Bull flavor, you will like this. It's actually smoother than Red Bull. So if you have a problem with the acidic taste of Red Bull, this is a lot less acidic, a lot smoother. So that's kind of the example of tasting. You can't really find these in stores. Besides, if you're in New York, you can find it in a lot of European style places. So please support them. drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. They're supporting us. I appreciate it. Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you're listening to this, and peace.